الحمد لله وكفى وسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ما ننسخ من آية أو ننسها نأت بخير منها أو مثلها ألم تعلم أن الله على كل شيء قدير ألم تعلم أن الله له ملك السماوات والأرض وما لكم من دون الله من ولي ولا نصير صدق الله العظيم. Ayat number 106 and 107. The bayan and discussion regarding the mansukh ayat, the abrogated verses or the abrogation in the Quran, and also some of the verses that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala He made to be forgotten out of His wisdom, out of His knowledge. We have gone over a few examples and some of the details related to this topic. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in ayat number 106, مَا نَنْسَخْ مِنْ آيَةٍ أَوْ نُنْسِهَا. We never abrogate any verse, nor do we make it to be forgotten. نَأْتِ بِخَيْرٍ مِّنْهَا أَوْ مِثْلِهَا, except that we bring something better than that verse, or a verse that will be better, a hukum, a command that is better. أَوْ مِثْلِهَا, or something like it, but a little more in eloquent fashion it is mentioned. And one thing should be made very clear, أَلَمْ تَعْلَمْ أَنَّ اللَّهَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. Don't you know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has power over all things. أَلَمْ تَعْلَمْ, coming to ayat number 107, أَلَمْ تَعْلَمْ, don't you know, أَنَّ اللَّهَ لَهُ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, that to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala belongs the kingdom and dominion of the heavens and the earth. وَمَا لَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ مِن وَلِيٍّ وَلَا نَصِيرٍ. And you do not have, other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, any protector nor any helper. One thing should be made very clear, that when it comes to ahkam, commandments and prohibitions, rules, laws, the word hukum, a law, or ahkam, laws and regulations, they can be divided into two major categories. We have the awamir, commandments, and we have the nawahi, prohibitions. It should be made very clear that when it comes to laws, rules and regulations, these rules and regulations, they have to follow particular criteria. Otherwise, there will be something deficient in that law, or that law will not be in any way possible to be implemented. The implementation of that law will not be possible. A few things that need to happen regarding a law, any law, is that first and foremost, that law has to be sensible. There has to be some sense behind the law. If it is not sensible, yes, you may be able to enforce it, but not for long. This is one thing. The second quality any law must have, any rule must have, is that that law or that rule should be based on justice. If it is not based on justice, then that law or that rule will not last very long. It will not continue for a very long time. The third quality required for any law, for any rule, is that it has to be applicable to everyone. It cannot be that it applies to some small group or some people and it does not apply to others. That law has to be a general law that applies to everyone. Otherwise, if it does not apply to everyone, again, you fall into the problem of injustice or dhulm, where a law excludes a group of people or some people. Another thing related to a law is that for any law that is passed, there has to be enough power for the implementation of that law or that rule. Otherwise, you can have the most just law, you can have the most common sense, most sensible law, and you can make everyone agree that yes, this law is sensible. But if you do not have the authority to implement it, then it is no more than an idea or a theory. So these are just a few points that need to be made very, very clear when it comes to laws, when it comes to rules. Based on these criteria, the person or people who pass the law or who implement the law, they also have to have particular qualities. Because if they are deficient in some qualities, then these particular guidelines will not be followed as far as the law or the rule itself. The governing body, the person, or government, or people, or group, whatever it might be, they have to have particular types of qualities. And if they have those qualities, then any law that is passed will be sensible, it will be just, it will apply to everyone. The governing body or the person that passes any law, first and foremost, they have to have what is known as ilmi muhit. They have to have a quality that is referred to as ilmi muhit. They have to have encompassing knowledge. They have to have encompassing knowledge. That their knowledge should extend to all those that they're passing a law for, or all those that they're passing a law on. They have to know their capabilities, they have to know their limitations, they have to understand their weaknesses, they have to understand various aspects of the people or group for whom they're passing a law. If they do not have this encompassing knowledge, then any law that they pass will be very deficient. They may pass a law that the vast majority of the people may not be able to follow. They may pass a law the vast majority of the people will not understand, and so on and so forth. There will be many problems. So the governing body, be it a government, be it an individual, be it the head of a state, be it the head of a government, be it the head of a company, a business, a home, whatever it might be, any person given authority, first and foremost, they should have that much knowledge of their people for whom they're passing laws, that they know their limitations and they know the weaknesses of the people for whom they're passing a law. The second quality that this governing body must have is the second quality that this governing body must have is that they must have qudrati kamila. They must have qudrati kamila, which means that they should have perfect and complete power to implement their law. Otherwise, they may have a law that is full of knowledge, full of wisdom, that is full of justice, but if they do not have the power to implement that law, then of what benefit is that law? You find in many countries in the world where certain laws are passed, even the police themselves don't follow those laws, let alone the common public. Other people don't even know the laws, let alone follow them in any way, don't care, have no regard for any of those laws. Why? Because they understand that the governing body does not have that level of authority to implement some of those laws. But in any country where you find that the authority is powerful, and that power extends to a point where they're able to make their citizens under them to some degree fear them, then they're able to implement laws and they have the power and authority to implement those laws. So you find in many countries where the authority is strong, then those laws work and they're implemented. The third quality that is very essential with that power, the third quality is very related to the second quality, is known as rahmati kamila. It is known as rahmati kamila, which means that that governing body must have very unique level of mercy and compassion. They should be very compassionate. They should understand the limitations and the weaknesses of their citizens. And accordingly, whenever they find that some citizens are not able to abide by some law, they should not go to the extreme and oppress their people. Rather, they should have level of compassion and love that, okay, this person made a mistake, let's give him a second chance, let's give him a third chance, and so on and so forth. Then, eventually, those laws will come into place. Otherwise, if you just have complete power and complete force, but you do not have any compassion for your people, so you will have a system that is very unjust, a very oppressive system, where the government will have extreme power and authority, but they will exercise that power in a very oppressive way. So that governing body, that person, that individual, that government, whatever it might be, they have to also have rahmati kamila. They have to have very deep compassion and very deep love. Otherwise, then those laws, they'll be implemented with so much force that in the end there will be no one to follow those laws. Because of the oppression, there will be no one left. So there has to be a certain level of compassion. And the fourth quality that any governing body must have is the quality that they should be impartial. It is known as ghayr janib dar, where they are impartial. They're not related to any family, not related to any party, not related to any group, not related to any ideology particular or per se. But they should be for their citizens. They should be for everyone. They should not have this racism or this idea of party system or racist system. Otherwise, the laws that they will pass will only favor their people, will only favor their group, will only favor a particular group of people. Everyone else will be excluded. And if you take these qualities, then there's only one being that has all these qualities, and that is Allah. You come to our worldly system, many of these qualities, to some degree, whatever they might have, you may find some government system that may have some of these qualities, but in a very limited fashion, to a very limited degree. So any laws that they pass are either passed on imperfect knowledge, or are passed with too much force, or there's no compassion shown, so oppression, you see the system of oppression. Or at the end of the day, laws are only for their people, and immigrants are excluded, and there are many things that even happen to the immigrants. I don't need to go into the details, I'm only talking about our system here, where only citizens are favored and everyone else is to some degree excluded. Yes, there is still a very great system of justice that we have, but unfortunately there are many things that can be fixed. So you find these qualities only with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that is why the system of the Quran, those who really study the Quran, and those who really study the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, those who have deep study of the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will come to this conclusion that this is the most just system. If a Muslim says it, or some scholar says it, or the ulama say it, so it may have so much weight. But even the non-Muslims, they have given witness. There was even an article the other day that Oxford University, they were saying that the system of law that is based on most just, or the most just system of law, is the system of the Quran. The article is there. So they have studied the Quran, and then they have studied other systems of government, and they found that the Quran is the most just system for humanity. Yes, it's only for the papers. If you tell them to implement it, so then they'll have a problem. They're kind of allergic to it also, you know. So this is the problem with our own egos and our own ideas. If you have a system of the people or by the people, then you'll have many, many problems and many, many weaknesses. So that is why the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in perfection, if you want to find perfection in any system, And the most perfect system of justice and the most perfect system of government is a system that is mentioned in the Quran. Yes, there will be some verses that will be explained in more detail. There may be some verses that may be changed due to certain reasons, and we've gone over some of those reasons. But all of this is by the power and qudra of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned the ending of ayat number 106. Alam ta'alam, don't you know? Anna Allah ala kulli shay'in qadir. That definitely Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He has power over all things. And His power is such that He has the power to implement His government, implement His power, and implement His system within this universe. This is one thing. The second thing, ayat number 107, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Alam ta'alam, don't you know? Anna Allah lahu mulku samawati wal ard. That to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala belongs the dominion and the kingdom of the heavens and the earth. So in reality, He is the only being that has the right to pass laws that should be implemented. Otherwise, if someone else comes in any government and they bring their own ideas, in general within the governments of this world, if some group stands up and they want to implement their system, and their system contradicts the system of government within that country, so those people are known as rebels, and they're rebelling against the established government of that country. And we know what happens to rebels in the end when they're caught. We know the end result. So this system of government, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept it in His control. Yes, to some very minute degree, to some very small degree, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given some control to us human beings. But even that control is very limited. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that, don't you know? Alam ta'alam, don't you know? Anna Allah lahu mulku samawati wal ard. That to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala belongs the dominion of the heavens and the earth. He is Malik, Al-Malik. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the ultimate king. He is Al-Malik. He is that king who has always been a king. He is a king and always will be a king. Since ever, forever. The whole kingdom is His. And He controls His kingdom. It's a very different kind of control. As human beings, how much can we control? We can't even control ourselves. Yes, there may be someone who may be bragging about how powerful they are. And someone may claim they have so much authority. And with all of that authority, they may be even, to some degree, become even bold and no one can challenge me. So then they tweet whatever they want. But to whatever degree of power they may have, one thing is very clear is that in reality, we don't even control ourselves. You might think, yes, I have control over myself. I can move my hand my way, move my feet. I can go wherever I want. If you really think we have control, and you really feel that you really have control, then the next time you have to use the restroom, hold it. Don't go. Let's see how strong we really are. Huh? We know. This is how much control we have. Sometimes it's so strong you can't even focus on anything. You can't even control this. This is how much control we humans have. We don't even control ourselves. And we think that we control someone else. When it comes to the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in various ayat in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the teachings of the Anbiya alayhimus salam, He has mentioned what kind of control He has. Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam, he told his qawm, he told his nation, in his nation, Qawmi Ad, they were a very powerful nation. They were not some normal nation. Very, very powerful nation. Physically very strong. And in authority, they were a different kind of authority. No one could challenge them. And they felt that they were really in control of everything. So Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam, when he was sent to them, so Qawmi Ad, they threatened Hud alayhi salam. And they sent various kinds of threat. We're going to harm you like this, and we're going to do this to you and that to you. So Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam, he told him, he said that by your threats you think I'm afraid of you. The reality is, Inni tawakkaltu ala Allah, Rabbi wa Rabbikum. He said, I have trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He's my Rabb and He's your Rabb. And you might think you have so much control, so much power. مَا مِن دَابَّةٍ إِلَّا هُوَ آخِذٌ بِنَاصِيَتِهَا. There's not a single creature but that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has grasped its forelock. This piece of hair here, you grab this, you can control anyone or control anything. But this was a term that was in general in Arabic used by the Arabs in controlling a horse, a wild horse. So those that were in the wild and you wanted to bring them under control, so you would grab the hair that is on the forehead and the nose line of the horse. Some of them the hair is a little bit longer, but this hair here, if you grab this, then the horse cannot harm you physically. One way you're facing the horse, so you're away from the main weapons of the horse, its legs. But also wherever you move that hair, you can move the horse. You can control it. And those who tame horses, they do this. Don't try it. Okay? Don't say we learned and we heard and we're so strong. No. Okay? There's a particular way of doing it. So this term was used for those who used to control the horse, and the horse was completely under that person's control. So Sayyidina Hud alayhi salam, he told his Qawm that there's not a single creature but that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has grasped its forelock, that creature is completely under the control of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Not only this, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us human beings some degree of free will, but even that is also limited. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He knows what choices we're going to make. He knows our limitations, He knows our strength, He knows our weaknesses, He knows everything about us. And that is why He also knows what system is best for us to follow. When it comes to our items as human beings, we've invented many amazing things as humans. Remember one thing, we don't create. We human beings, we don't have the power to create. Because to create, you start from nothing. And from nothing, you make something. We humans, we never start from nothing. We start from something and then we change it into something else. So all we're doing is we're inventing new things, putting things together or changing the very nature of something. So this is the kind of power we humans have. Whatever inventions we've made quite some amazing things. And we've manufactured many amazing things. And the reality is that all of these things that we have manufactured, we have engineered, we have invented, those who are the original inventors and manufacturers, they also have a set of rules that if that particular item is used based on those rules, and within those limits, then this item will become beneficial for a prolonged period of time. Otherwise, you will face difficulty, or you will have some problem with this item. Even our cars, vehicles, you buy it, it comes with a big manual. Nobody ever reads it. Or your phone, it comes with a small little manual. Nobody, we don't read it, but in reality, all the details are there. For the perfect maintenance of your vehicle, or the perfect usage of your phones, or whatever else might be there, all those details are in there by the manufacturer. And if somebody wants to apply their own, somebody is an expert even in the field, they want to apply their own, even then, they'll agree that the people who have made this have taken precautions to make sure that this item is used properly. That is within our human scope and within our human limitations. Whatever little bit knowledge we may have. Coming to the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us, which is even far more than invention or manufacturing. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created us from nothing. He created this vast universe from nothing. إِذَا أَرَادَ شَيْئًا أَن يَقُولَ لَهُ كُنْ فَيَكُونُ. When He intends something, He simply says exist. Kun, in Arabic means be. It means exist. فَيَكُونُ, and it existed. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows the limitations and knows the strengths and weaknesses of His creation. So He has passed laws that will be the best for us as human beings in our society. Even if some things are changed in particular ways, that change is for our benefit. So this is the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He can do whatever He wants with His creation. Also, there's also another reality that we have to remember. وَمَا لَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ مِن وَلِيٍّ وَلَا نَصِيرٍ. You might say, okay, I want to follow my way. We do things my way or our way. Just remember one thing, that other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we don't have any protector and we don't have any helper. Someone might think, okay, I don't want to follow the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I want to have my own system. That's fine. So make your own kingdom. And make your kingdom, that kingdom which does not belong to Allah. It's impossible. This whole universe belongs to Him. So yes, you can have your own system, but at the end of the day, it will not be accepted. When the time comes and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts you to questioning, that who gave you the authority to implement your system? I'll just give you a very simple example. We all have jobs, we all have businesses. Someone goes to work And in that work, he starts his own way of doing things. He doesn't listen to the boss, doesn't listen to the manager. What will they do to him? And if he tries to oppose them, what do you think will happen? We all know where that person will end up. The same go to a much larger degree and a bigger degree. Whatever degree you go to, whatever level you go to, whoever will oppose the system, that system that will come down on that person very, very hard. And that is within our human society. What about the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will tell a person that I gave you all of these favors, I gave you all of this compassion and this mercy, I gave you everything. And all I demanded of you was that you obey me, you follow my laws, implement my laws. And what did you do? You implemented your system. So who can save someone from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that day? On the day of judgment, we're standing in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And these questions are posed. Who can save a person on that day? We might be thinking this person has my back, or that person will support me, that person will help me. Remember one thing, on the day of judgment, everyone will be afraid for themselves. Sometimes in companies, they have a shakedown, they need to fire X number of people, and they, we all understand how companies work, especially at the end of the year, so everyone is on edge. Because the group that is hired to do the firing and remove the people, they're not from that company. So they don't have any favoritism to anyone. They just call a person or call a group of people, tell them you're fired, go. And they clean up the system, clean house. And they leave about a new system in place. There's no kind of help or anyone. And at that time, every single employee is on edge. And if any employee can rat on another employee to save his job, he'll do it. Because we understand how difficult sometimes it is to find another job or to resettle or resituate. So at that time, all that loyalty and everything is on. That's just within this world. The same applies to criminals. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save all of us. But the case of criminals, before the crime, each one is talking about how brave they are. Especially you take, these bank robbers, and you see some of the interviews with them afterwards. Each one is bragging about how brave he is, what kind of grand plan they have in place that they will not get caught. And each one is saying that if you get caught, I have your back. And the next one is saying, I have your back, don't worry, we'll take care of each other. And when they get caught, and each one is ratting on the other one. The first one, each one is saying, no, he was the ringleader. The other one is saying, no, he was the ringleader. Each one is trying to outdo the other one and trying to get a bargain deal. And that is reality of this dunya, of this world. What about on the akhirah? When there's no one there, you'll have to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So everyone will be for himself. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives a case of that dunya, of that world. يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ. On that day, a brother will run away from his brother. A person will run away from his brother, his siblings. وَأُمِّهِ وَأَبِي. A person will run away from his parents. وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَبَنِي. A person will run away from their companion, their spouse, and their children. لِكُلِّ امْرِئٍ مِّنْهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ شَأْنٌ يُغْنِيهِ. Everyone will be standing alone in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when someone is found as a criminal, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us that case also. In Surat al-Ma'arij, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, يَوَدُّ الْمُجْرِمُ لَوْ يَفْتَدِي مِنْ عَذَابِ يَوْمِئِذٍ بِبَنِيهِ. When the person will be found as criminal, and now this person has to go to the fire of Jahannam, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save all of us. So then this person will start trying to bargain. He'll be trying to find a plea deal. And he will start with his own children. He'll be telling Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, oh Allah, you save me, take my children, burn them. Allahu Akbar. Yawaddul mujrim, this criminal, he'll want لَوْ يَفْتَدِي مِنْ عَذَابِ يَوْمِئِذٍ بِبَنِي, that he can ransom his children off to be saved from the punishment. Well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then further gives the various levels of this person will be ready to give. يَوْمِئِذٍ بِبَنِيهِ وَصَاحِبَتِهِ وَأَخِيهِ وَفَصِيلَتِهِ الَّتِي تُؤْوِيهِ وَمَنْ فِي الْأَرْضِ جَمِيعًا ثُمَّ يُنْجِيهِ. This person will be ready to ransom off their spouse, ransom off their siblings, ransom off anyone that they know, and even the whole world will be ready to give as ransom just to be saved from the punishment on that day. And look at the style and eloquent nature of the Quran. Now when it speaks about the mujrim, it doesn't mention that he'll be ready to ransom his mother and father. But on the day of judgment, it said that he'll run away from his mother and father. Yes, a mujrim, a criminal, will be ready to ransom anyone off. But out of respect for the parents, and the level and degree of respect that is required for parents, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not mention that in these verses of Surah Al-Ma'arij. The eloquent nature of the Quran. And how amazing this Quran is. But that criminal on that day, he'll be ready to give anyone, just to be saved. But it won't be accepted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Kalla, never. It will never be accepted from this person. So this is why a person who tries to come up with their own system and implement their own system and challenge the system of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then they're only doing themselves harm. Why? Because this whole universal domain belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And on the day of judgment, once that decree will be given against someone, مَا لَكُم مِّن دُونِ اللَّهِ مِن وَلِيٍّ وَلَا نَصِيرٍ, you will not have any protector or any helper other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on that day. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us understanding and give all of us the tawfiq to practice His deen. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغِ. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيد المرسلين وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم نور قلوبنا بالقرآن وزين أخلاقنا بالقرآن ونجنا من النار بالقرآن وادخلنا في الجنة بالقرآن. اللهم اجعل القرآن لنا في الدنيا قرينا وفي القبر مونسا وعلى الصراط نورا وفي الجنة رفيقا ومن النار سترا وحجابا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.